play Blossom that night, so those tickets closer to $420. Your Guardians are still off tonight, but they head to Chicago, and they'll start up against the White Sox tomorrow night, 8:10 here on MMS. First of four. I think they got to slip a doubleheader in there, too. Some previously postponed rain out or I don't know what. But they will get another crack at trying to beat the amazing Chicago White Sox on their home turf. And hopefully some people will show up. It is a White Sox game. Hopefully there'll be some people in attendance. I think what happens is a lot of times, if they're smart, they do for the televised games, is they'll just take everyone in attendance and they'll crowd them all into seats behind home plate so it looks like it's a sold-out game.
Until that's hit the ball into the outfield and they go, what the?
Well, then they move everybody over there.
Everybody run.
Yeah, they all run. That's right. That's just good television. That's just how you produce that. Do you want to hear from Dustin? Dustin left us a message on the
Always do.
iHeartRadio app.
Alan, it's Dustin. I tell you, man, it sounds like Mayor's coming into a whole lot of damn money. You know, to go. I mean, she just got back from vacation, talking about going on another vacation to Chicago, and I'm here to tell you that going to Hawaii, you'll spend 10 grand easily. And I just, man, she ain't making that damn much off of feet pics and comedy. I'm just saying.
I don't know how much she's making. I don't. None of us know how much she's making off foot pics and comedy. Also, you don't know, Dustin.
Also, I'm not paying for these things by myself. My boyfriend and I split things down the middle, so it's not like I'm funding.
You still got to come up with $5,000 to go to Hawaii,
next
apparently.
Year.
And now you're in a double income home.
Yeah.
So all your bills are cut in half.
Right.
So going from what you were paying for everything.
Yeah.
It probably cut your expenses down considerably.
He is saving a lot more than I am because
that's what he does.
I mean, like, he has saved more on cutting the bills in half than I have because my bills were more expensive for one person. Not more expensive, but like, what am I trying to say? Half of his mortgage is less than half of my rent was. So
you were paying more for rent than he was for
No,
his
I wasn't.
mortgage.
He was paying more. I don't want to put the numbers out there. But like, I'm only saving like $200 a month and he's saving like $500 a month because his mortgage was more expensive. Is that making sense the way I'm struggling to say this?
That's my fault, not your fault. I'm stupid when it comes to those things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, the difference between my rent and my half of the mortgage is smaller than his difference of paying the full mortgage and paying half the mortgage. Mm-hmm. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I believe you. That's the important part. I believe that you are telling the truth.
Yeah. So we are, and he's incredible at saving money, and I haven't gambled in 3 months. So, yeah. We can afford some stuff.
All right. Why does Dustin sound like Jeff Foxworthy? You should be asking yourself, why does Jeff Foxworthy sound like Dustin? Well, Jeff Foxworthy, I think, is from Alabama. Dustin's from Georgia. That's how a lot of people sound like down there. And that's all right. I like it. Did you see this girl? I'm fascinated, and we're surrounded by people like this all the time, but I am fascinated why people who don't quite understand things get so angry when you point that out. People are desperate to pretend to be smarter than they are. Used to be if you were stupid, you knew it. Mm-hmm. And everybody's stupid about something. There's no... I'm separating people who have like a physical disability or a mental disability. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about functioning workaday people, right? Used to be if you weren't that sharp in general, you go, well, I don't know too much, but I shouldn't do the voice.
The Dustin voice.
I don't know. That's not fair. It's an homage to my father, okay, from Mobile, Alabama. I don't know too much, but...
the engineer, yes.
The engineer. But you've got, there's a lot of preamble here, but this woman is suing a guy over a date. She's suing a guy for $10,000 because he stood her up. And she's convinced it's perjury. And the judge repeatedly tries to tell her, no, it's not perjury. And she just won't hear of it because
not under oath.
because she thinks a lie is perjury. This is a Zoom court date that she had. This is a woman in Michigan. Quashante Short is the woman.
Desperate woman.
And she sued a guy, or is suing a guy, for $10,000 for standing her up. And so they had the hearing virtually with the judge. And she and the judge are getting into it because the judge is trying to tell her what perjury is. And she's like, no, no, no. You know, she filed the lawsuit a while ago, I guess, alleging that this guy, Richard Jordan, did not show up and left on her mother's birthday. Her mother had just passed away.
Aww. Well, that's
so she's suing him for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Boy, emotional distress does a lot of heavy lifting in our judicial system. Emotional distress. People seem to be, I know we all see this, people are extraordinarily easily distressed emotionally.
Right. Well, I'm sure this court case got thrown out.
Don't know. This is like still happening, I think. So she sued the guy for $10,000. And the judge is trying to tell her that there's no legal basis for the...
what is it? Intentional infliction of emotional distress?
Yes.
Is that the claim?
Yes.
That's not something that's really justiciable in district court.
We had a date, one date, and nothing else after that. And now I'm being sued for $10,000.
If he responds and his response is a lie, it's perjury, then my documents will prove that he lied in his response.
First of all, do you understand what perjury is?
Yes, I understand perjury is a lie. I know what
Can you pause it real quick? This is a real court case. This isn't like Judge Joe Brown.
No. This is in Flint, Michigan. Judge Herman Marable Jr. is presiding over this case in Flint, Michigan.
Why aren't the attorneys presenting the case?
Because I think it's probably...
Seems like just like civil court.
Yeah. He is trying to tell her that this has to go through another court. And she's trying to say, no, it's not. I just don't know. People all of a sudden are like, I know the law now.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor. I know,
It's that Facebook confidence. It's the YouTube University confidence.
But that's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. We understand that. But someone that doesn't understand the definition of perjury...
No, but what I'm saying is that there are people on all those social media platforms with expertise.
Right.
There are lawyers and there are doctors and there right, but why aren't these people listening to them?
Because they just think if they keep talking, they'll get their way.
I don't think it's that because I'm guilty of the doctor thing. If I have symptoms for something, I will be all over the internet for 3 days before my doctor's appointment. And then I go in and I say, hey, this is what I read, which I know is so annoying and not what you're supposed to do. But I tell my doctor.
But you don't push it. It sounds like you're just trying to give them a little bit of information, maybe.
Well, I say
you don't tell them that they're wrong.
No, I don't tell them that they're wrong.
Right.
But I definitely come in.
Then.
There are a lot of people telling doctors that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Now, listen, doctors aren't infallible. Some of it is guesswork, right? But it's guesswork based on an area of expertise that you and I don't have. So it's just very strange to me.
And this is a situation where it's not even expertise. You can just look up the definition
Google
for perjury. And she's like, I reject all that.
Well, she doesn't reject all of it. She rejects half of it. She accepts the lying part. She rejects under oath. She's accepting half, where she just stopped at a lie. Perjury is a lie, period.
Because it's her and the judge going back and forth. The guy, the defendant, is just sitting there on Zoom.
It's like, I've been sued for $10,000.
$10,000. Now, I'm sure this is something that'll get thrown out or whatever, but I mean, but you still have to pay court fees and like you're costing yourself money with this stuff. You're never going to get $10,000 from this guy.
Yes, I understand perjury is a lie. I know what perjury means.
Perjury is a statement, a false statement made under oath. I don't see anything in the complaint that says he made some false statement under oath.
Because you don't know what happened. You're on the outside looking in.
Wait a minute. You are the plaintiff.
Are we done here?
You have to lay out.
Are we done here?
No,
I know
we're not.
exactly what perjury means.
No, we're not.
Do not insult my intelligence.
Do not insult my intelligence. I know. She's like, she just keeps going. I chopped a lot of it out because she's a lot of, are we done here? Are we done here? Black judge, black woman, black guy. So there's no like racial component to this. But the guy, the defendant, the dude she's suing, is just like, and she's going back and forth. Trust me, it was way longer than that. I'm giving you the meat.
Oh my God.
I wonder why he didn't want to go on a date with her.
People are always like,
do not insult
my
intelligence.
All you have to do is Google the word perjury. Yeah, so there's big doings there in courtroom 1 in the 67th district there in Genesee County, up near Flint. And the guy's telling her, I don't know how this is going to go any further. This is a waste of your time to sue me for $10,000. She says that he perjured himself by lying to her. And he's like, well, there's been no depositions here. Like, this is perjury's under oath. She said, he lied in a letter, and that's what brought forth the perjury. People just...
We don't have to insult her intelligence, but can we...
Question it?
Question it, and also...
Can we be suspect on the depth of it legally? Yeah. I mean, again, everybody's dumb about something. I'm dumb about math. I'm dumb about most things.
Right, but
I could Google the word perjury if I were this woman.
But when you're dumb about things, and then you're trying to convince people that you're not dumb about them, that's when you look really dumb.
That's what I get accused of every day on this show.
But
so we all get accused of that every day.
Right. Well,
I got a very nasty email yesterday telling me just to shut up and let people who actually know what they're talking about do the talking on air.
What did you talk about?
It was about something a couple days ago. Carrying a gun in a restaurant.
Oh, God.
You get mad at me for that, though.
What are you talking about?
You'll be like, you always talk about, like, you know exactly what's going on and something, and then you don't.
I never said that.
You've said that to me a bunch of times.
No, you're thinking of somebody else.
I only talked to 3 people.
Yeah, but someone was like, you never know what you're talking about. You're a know-it-all. You think that you know everything. And I'm like, 95% of the time I say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Or I'll say, I'm wrong. That was so stupid. I can't believe I asked that. But this person was very, very upset with me.
Well, again, you can't tell people how to react. That's a silly way to react. And that's somebody who just wants to tell you to shut up. Well, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, really. You could be talking about something you know everything about, and they would tell you they didn't like that too.
Right.
I mean,
there are the gun people that, and again, this is someone that sounds like a responsible gun owner that actually knows
the laws,
chapter and verse, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes they come at it a little angry, which makes them a bad gun owner.
Right.
Calm down about it.
5 days, but I'm angry now.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, you may not know this about that. You thought this, but here's what actually is the law.
Well, and what I said
in
was...
a nice way.
By the way, this show is not a TED Talk. We are not experts in anything,
we're
right?
idiots.
So we're speaking off the top of our head. Some things we might know a couple of nuggets about here and there, but this is not a master class in anything. So ease off the throttle. It's a lot better. I've gotten emails from people that were upset about something I said, but they wrote where I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Here's how you're wrong. Yeah. That's great.
Well, he sent me
now moving forward, I know.
He sent me a link to the law, and I was like, yo.
Well, don't send me reading material.
Right.
I
was like, yo, I said specifically the restaurant that I worked at had a posted sign that said, no firearms here.
People hear what they want to hear, then they get a full head of steam, and then they fire off a thing. People are telling me this girl in Flint sues everybody.
This is her thing?
She sued the state of Michigan for $350 million. She files all kinds of frivolous lawsuits. Doesn't that all cost you money, though? Here's something else I'm stupid about. Because I've never been sued. I've never gone through court. It all costs you money.
I don't know.
Legal fees, like to file.
Well, maybe she gets enough settlements out of it that
Jesus.
It's her way of making money.
But settlements from whom? I
don't know. So there's probably companies that are just like,
I don't want to deal with it.
Give her $5 grand, get her to shut up.
Yeah.
I guess.
If the company's big enough.
Okay, so let's say you sue AT&T. Mm-hmm. They could just drain you.
They could,
to where
but
you have nothing.
But it's not worth it for them to do so. Their legal counsel, they have a retainer or like a fund, or like, listen, this is a slush fund. This is just for all our legal problems in 2022. If this is drained.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if we were all going out and suing huge corporations, that's not how you would make a living.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do that.
I'm not saying she's making a good living. I think she is
scraping by.
Yeah.
Contrary to that, there's a guy who went viral on TikTok who does make his living that way. He said he has sued every single employer he has ever had, and he just lists no job history. So that's how he keeps getting hired places.
I've seen that
he
guy.
Goes in.
Yeah.
Wait. How do he keeps getting hired because?
He just says he's never had a job before, or he just got out of jail. I don't remember that part, but he doesn't list references.
You would think
he sues for discrimination.
He sues for discrimination. He'll do a fake slip and fall. He'll do all kinds of things, whatever
I would think it would be
is.
really hard to get hired if you had no job history.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
People not doing their research.
No, I
If you
don't
don't-
think so. It depends on the type of job. Where you could say, "Hey, I've lived with people my whole life. I've never had to. This is me trying to get out on my own."
Maybe.
You know,
But any employer will go, why do you have such a big work gap?
there is no gap. There is no history.
That's what I'm saying. A work gap is a red flag, let alone no work history.
I don't remember
okay.
the way that he got the jobs, but he was like bragging on either a radio show or a podcast, going on and on about how I have sued every place I've worked for a minimum of $10,000. and-
Going public is a really smart way to keep that scam going, by the way.
But that was like his whole thing was, this is how I make my money.
It's like the people that go, here's a great TikTok hack to get X, Y, and Z, and then they go viral. And like, you blew it up for yourself. Now you can't do it because everybody's doing it. You dummy. Yeah, I don't know how a guy keeps getting hired with no work history.
I also have a hard.
Charleston White, that's
Yeah.
his name.
What's his name?
Charleston White has sued every job he's worked at for $10,000. I can
And
send
word
you the
doesn't get
YouTube
around?
video if you want.
Well, it's got around now. His name's out there.
Wow.
All they
He
got to
was
do
on
is
Say Cheese.
might be a podcast or something.
Oh, it
He
says
was one of the
Say Cheese
first-
digital.
If it's the same guy, he was one of the first juveniles. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the first juveniles to be sentenced to murder under a law in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there
this
you go.
is part 4. Jeez.
52.
So yeah, he goes on and on talking about how that's what it is. I'm like, man, people are crazy. And
Wow.
it feels
He was
that
a gang leader in Texas.
That feels harder than just doing
Just
the
doing the
job.
job, yeah.
Like more, but I guess if you find all the loopholes, no one knows
Right,
the law
'cause-
better than criminals.
Because $10,000 isn't
I know. It's
that
just,
much. Like you
But
still
if you're
got
doing it 4 or 5 times a year, every couple months you're suing somebody
but
for
you're also,
10 grand.
you're also giving the
Then you gotta-
lawyer a
yeah.
third of it. Like,
I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing.
it does seem harder than just working and
Just
doing
working,
it.
yeah, just
Everybody's
trying to find
looking
a
for
good
a
job.
goddamn shortcut, man. He just hasn't found the right fit for him yet. He wants to follow his bliss, and I can't blame him for that. Hey, don't anybody, by the way, and I've heard from some bureau chiefs up there in the Hudson River Valley, north of New York City. Don't worry about monkeypox or all that, because polio is back. Remember how we thought we eradicated polio? There's a case of polio up in Rockland County, New York. So listen, just get one of those weighted blankets Poundcake was talking about, wrap yourself in it, and suffocate yourself.
I blame.
There's nothing good on the other side.
I blame Ralph Lauren for all those shirts.
Bill, see me after the show, will you? That's a polo brand.
Yeah,
Those weren't polio
he's making
shirts.
shirts out of polio and then just selling them for a crazy markup.
Can you imagine instead of the guy on the horse with the mallet, it's just the polio?
Oh, there's a version of that where the legs of the horse are all bent up weird.
really
Aw.
a polio shirt.
Yeah.
That's funny. Ugh. Alan, you're not even an expert in entertainment. Absolutely, I'd argue if I could. Experts in
Is
nothing.
there anything you feel like you're an expert in that you
No.
like know through and through?
No, because there's always somebody who knows more than you do.
Yeah, I'm not saying you know the most.
Well, I think being an expert means it would be very hard for somebody to call you out and go, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I mean, how many things can you be wrong about and be an expert?
I don't know.
See?
I'm trying to think if I was an expert in anything. Bingo.
I think it takes being an expert to me is different than they talk about the 10,000 hours you put in to be
Yeah.
like really, really good at something.
That's different than knowing a bunch about something.
Right. Like I'm really good at my job, right? I've kept a career unbelievably for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So, but that's about it. Like, no, I would never, ever consider myself an expert in anything. Even something I knew. There are things I know a lot about.
Like what? That's what I'm asking. Music, comic books? Not comic books. You just sold them.
Well, it doesn't mean I know a lot about them.
You're
I mean,
an
yeah.
expert in it. You had to ask.
I don't know. If somebody would have to mention something and
Yeah.
I'd go,
Yeah, I know a lot about that.
right. Nothing springs to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I'm not an expert in anything. But there are things we all know a lot about,
Mm-hmm.
right? Enough to get by, enough where if somebody said something, you go, well, that's not really true.
Yeah.
But being an expert, I don't know. Because I'm not scientific. I didn't get any of that. All my siblings got that gene from my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a goddamn genius. My siblings got that gene, that analysis gene. I didn't get that.
You're an expert in tuna fish pouches.
Yeah! I am. And they can funk up a room too, boy.
See? All part of the game. You know it all.
It is. I got a break. Comedian Ryan Hamilton is going to join us shortly. He's back in town to do Hilarities this weekend, so we'll catch up with him. I'll have those Incubus tickets for you after the break. They're doing Blossom on August the 9th. And then another chance to grab some money, 4:30, next keyword, to grab $1,000. And we'll be